Hello, friends, and welcome to Binge O'Clock, the podcast where we watch something and then we talk about it. I'm Joy Selden, and I've seen almost everything.
I'm Danielle, and I've seen almost nothing.
I'm Jill Friedman, and I saw Mommy kissing Santa Claus. We're recording this in January. That's why it's funny.
No one will understand why. Well, depending on when we release it, maybe we can shift a few things around to make that true. But yes, everyone, we've basically taken a hiatus for the holidays, and some of us have been a little sick. Hopefully, my audio still sounds okay. But yeah, no, we're back, and we're here to talk about Gravity Falls. Season 2, episodes 13, 14, and 15. I almost said 3, 4, and 5, which is a completely different episode that we didn't even record, because that's not how numbers work. And we're off. Welcome to the new year.
And we're off.
It's an absolutely cracking start to 2024.
Yes.
Fantastic. I love
yes. Stuck the landing. Nailed it.
Absolutely.
So who likes tabletop?
Who likes tabletop?
I mean, we all do. Everyone on this call.
We all do.
Do you like tabletop? Sure, we all do.
It's a real 90s 90s make it cool commercial.
I love how the font was just straight up Fresh Prince of Bel-Air.
Yeah.
They didn't even, it was just that. It was same colors.
No, they didn't even try.
They went on to dafont.com, found that font, and just made that.
Yeah. And it's perfect. It's perfect. No notes. That's 100% the same commercials I would have seen in the 90s. And poor Ford is like, oh yes, what a perfect decade to be lost in an alternate reality. Sounds like I didn't miss anything.
Can we give just all of the shout outs to J.K. Simmons on this episode?
Oh yeah.
Because his line read on, is that a 38-sided die?
I know.
And then launching into full DD and more D nerding. I was like, this is J.K. Simmons.
Yes.
Just going full dork.
Yeah.
At the mic.
No one commits like J.K. Simmons. I just want a camera in the audio booth when he records these sometimes, because I want to see him go absolutely nuts for
the fact that Valve never released the Cave Johnson cut. So
what cut?
All right. Okay. So you know the game Portal?
Yes.
So in the Portal games, the guy who runs the corporate Aperture Science is this guy named Cave Johnson, and he's just a complete nutcase. And he's voiced by J.K. Simmons.
Yeah, absolutely insane. In the second game,
forgot about that.
In the second game is really where you hear him.
Yeah, the second game
a decade ago.
Yeah, well, that's when they came out. Mm-hmm. The second game, interspersed throughout the whole audio files interspersed through the whole game are sort of a found footage story of what happened to Cave Johnson.
Oh.
And it's just, the line deliveries are just so good.
He talks about the people he's experimenting on. And and the assistants.
When life gives you lemons, say these lemons, when God gives you lemons, send them back. These lemons suck.
Yeah.
Make grenades out of them and throw them back at you.
It is a solid...
But see, this is what I was saying about J.K. Simmons last time. We so rarely get to see him when he's not being a villain. So actually, Joy, I'm totally with you. I would love to see him going ham, but not in a violent way. Yeah. Because every other time I've seen him go ham, it's deeply violent.
Non-violent ham. So there's a really funny J.K. Simmons connection in the first 30 seconds of the episode that I wonder how intentional it was, but it's undeniably there. So when the episode opens and Ford comes thundering out of the basement with this
alien
tentacled creature,
cephalopod alien thing, put a pin in that because we have to talk about everybody's reactions because those were great. Mm-hmm. But he's wearing this electro glove that's basically identical to the electro gloves that Asami Sato designs in Legend of Korra.
Oh.
Where J.K. Simmons voices Tenzin.
Nice.
We have talked before about our complicated feelings about Legend of Korra. But yes, now that you mention that, I do recall that that is exactly how they look.
Like, it's the same design. I have a Tumblr post about it. Like, it was...
That's amazing.
Because I'm that kind of dork.
And that's why you're here, Jill.
And that's why you're here.
And that's why I'm here.
You're here
Oh,
to
LOL,
provide...
Jake's joy.
You're here to provide the much-needed context and find all the Easter eggs, which we obviously missed.
Yes.
But I love the three reactions when, like, Ford comes out of the basement with the thing. Dipper asks, what is it? Mm-hmm. Mabel asks, can we keep it? And Stan goes, kill it, kill it, kill it.
Just perfectly encapsulates every character.
Exactly. It's just sort of like, that's it. That's the show.
That's the show. Oh man, I'm so the Mabel in that very specific context. Can we keep it? Particularly when I'm playing a TTRPG.
Hey.
That's literally Nella. Nella would be like, can we keep it?
Can we keep it?
Oh man.
I don't know which one I would be. I would probably be like, what is it? But if it got very close to me, I would be like, kill it, kill it, kill it.
Yeah, I'm in that same boat.
I am Dipper when I have the ability to step as far away as I am comfortable to be far away from a thing. And definitely Grunkle Stan when I do not have that ability. And it is within my own space.
It's like, if you tell me that you have a cool spider for a pet, I will ask for photos.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
If a spider just sort of shows up in my room, I'm going to scream.
Yeah. I do have a friend who keeps snakes. Really, really quick sidebar. I have a friend who keeps snakes. And when I was visiting them, they were holding a snake. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. They were like, do you want to hold it? I was like, no.
No.
I was like, look, I love snakes. I don't want to feel it in my hands. I understand it's cool and fun, but I'm good. I can see it from here and appreciate that it exists.
I can look with my eyes.
Yeah.
Snakes don't really bother me, I think. Mostly because at least the ones I've handled are so slow moving.
Or just
it's
chill.
Not like
chill snakes.
they're just there, you know?
Sure.
It's not like when your brother's baby asks you to hold the insects that he just captured.
Of course.
And because it's a baby, you feel like you have to say yes, and then before you know it, the insect is skittering up your arm and it's going to go inside your shirt, you know? Like, that's no fun. We don't like that.
No,
Nobody
thank you.
wants that. No one asked for
I would
this.
prefer not to.
Can I opt out? I would like to opt out of this scenario. But yeah, I really enjoy...
This is not in the user agreement.
I really enjoy Dungeons, and More Dungeons. I really like that it's about math, but also you can make up nonsense. I love that, like, the rules of Dungeons and Dragons are there to be fudged, and I appreciate that the show got that.
Yes.
Yeah, this episode is such a great example of making fun of a thing that you love. Mm-hmm. Because so many of the jokes and so many of the, like you said, like the rule fudging and what have you, you don't get that unless you've played hours and hours of D&D yourself.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because there are a lot of rules in D&D, but once you learn them, you can learn how to be like, okay, cool, but this one thing, maybe you don't take that falling damage because, those boots you got from your aunt are super cool and they ignore terrain just for the next 12 hours. Like sometimes the rule of cool is the rule of cool and you just do something super cool. Especially living in an age where we have a bunch of podcasts and a bunch of, when we have Dimension 20 and we have a bunch of shows built around D&D and how fun and interesting it can be while, fudging the rules a little bit. Because I guarantee you most of those shows...
Not rules loring.
Yeah, most of those shows
adjust
just something, which is funny because when I started playing D&D was like post the Adventure Zone. So I didn't play D&D before that. Although I did play some RPGs before that. Just not Dungeons and Dragons.
Like we were playing Fate before that.
Yeah. I just wasn't sure. I mean, I'm also not a very good improv person. So I was nervous as if anyone could tell, it was super obvious that I was nervous playing like my first RPG game, because I'm not the easiest person to just be like, I know instantly a bunch of nonsense that I'm just going to spout about a character. You know, like I had to,
yeah.
I'm the type of player that like I kind of have to get used to the other people I'm playing with and the other characters they're playing, and like understand the dynamics, because ultimately I want to know where I fit in to a slot, right? As opposed to just going off on my own.
Yeah, no, I think that totally makes sense, though.
Yeah, but there are other people who can just drop, you know.
First few...
not everyone is Brennan Lee Mulligan, all right?
No.
Right. And the first few characters I played had, like, extremely low intelligence for a reason. I was like, I would like to take the pressure off of myself. I'm gonna create a character who doesn't need to know anything.
Outstanding. My partner is playing a character like that right now. He's they're a non-binary pansexual paladin or paladin or cleric, I forget which, whose patron goddess is like a goddess of hedonism and like debauchery.
That's
Bacchanal.
It's a real, yeah.
And he is and the character is just a complete ThemBo.
Love a ThemBo.
Yeah.
Love a ThemBo. I almost exclusively play ThemBos.
Yeah, no, I was going to say, it's, well, for people who are fans of NADPOD out there, not another D&D podcast, Danielle was essentially playing Hard One Surefoot, which I absolutely adore. Hard One Surefoot is like a dumb fighter. And he will fight, and he will do the dumb thing, and he like, and it's inevitably somebody will be like this, and he'll be like, dumb? But yeah, it's I love that. I love characters like that. I had one of the other players help me build a Firecaster, which literally was just a teenage girl, like a fire starter, who just shot fire out of her hands, and I was like, yep, that's where I am. As a person, as a nation. That's who I be.
That's who I be.
That's who I be. But like, and the evolution of that, right, is like, eventually I became the type of player where like, even, you know, and Nella, who was playing with us, was like, hey, you know, you should lean into the fact that this is a teenager. Like, that's probably where, you know, a lot of the, you know, nonsense that, you know, you're struggling with can come from, because my characters famously hardly ever say anything. Because I'm like, I don't know what to say. You didn't give me a script. I don't have words. I don't have words to say. But on the other hand, you have people playing like Grunkle Stan and Mabel.
Mabel, who is fantastic at this game.
Yeah.
And like, the thing is, she was always going to be good at D&D and Morty.
Oh, yeah.
You know? Like, when the way, it's just like Dipper went about it the wrong way.
Yeah.
He totally
when he
did.
was explaining the game to her.
Like, if he had obviously, I guess, well, Critical Role did exist at that point. Like, he could have been like, here, and handed her like Critical Role, and she would have been like dragging him to the gaming store to get, you know, the next module.
Right, yeah.
I also love that they were able to incorporate the nerd fight between people who play D&D and people who LARP.
That was the point where I was really like, oh, these people do these things. These people are the writers of this show are like talking about themselves and their friends.
Yeah.
This is a conversation that actually happened IRL, like in the writer's room.
100%.
And then they were like, well, it's in the show. We're putting it in the show.
And now it's in the show, and now it's a whole episode, and it's perfect. And we love it. We adore it.
Not to get like super dork about all of it, but like,
Oh, please.
if Dipper and Mabel are from Piedmont, and Piedmont is supposed to be like the Silicon Valley kind of area.
Okay.
The SCA was founded in Berkeley, California in the 60s. Like, that is an area with a whole lot of SCA presence, HEMA, I think, is another one.
Well, Gygax was the 70s, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I think D&D and Gygax and all that was the 70s.
Yeah, that was the 70s. The SCA thing was more of a Lord of the Rings sort of fan effort.
Sure.
Because it started as like a garden party on May 1st in someone's backyard.
Oh,
in like Berkeley, California. Yeah.
Oh, it was also the 60s. I take it back.
Because of like the age Gary Gygax was, like how old he was, and when he was born and such. While D&D definitely hit its stride in the 70s and early 80s, like that had been around for a while.
Yeah, no, fair. I was just actually trying to find where he, as somebody who was trying to explain this to someone who was looking at me like I had a fifth head when I was trying to explain to them what D&D was. And I was like, okay, first of all, I didn't come, like, this has been around for, 50 years at this point. Don't look at me like this.
Yeah. This is a game that is older than we are. Where have you been?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it's got...
Do you not watch Stranger Things?
Right.
It's just such a silly...
Did you not watch that one season of the Riverdale where D&D was the social ill?
I mean, really?
Riverdale is
I've never seen Riverdale.
Riverdale is almost niche. I feel like Stranger Things was such an epic thing that everyone watched Stranger Things. Like everybody. Yeah. I'm like, how did you miss this? No, I was trying to figure out if it was also California, but it's hard to tell. Hey, get at us. Somebody get at me on the tweet, on the Twitters.
Yeah. I have to admit, I'm extremely late to the D&D game. Like I only got into it. Well, I mean, as Joy said earlier, we played other RPGs, and I played a number of other systems before I played D&D.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But
I was scared of D&D. I was like, there are too many rules.
Well, that's exactly it. Like, I think that the first person who tried to explain it to me the way Dipper tried to explain it to Mabel. And I was like, I'm overwhelmed and this is not working for me.
Well, the first thing I did, which was a mistake for anyone with ADD or ADHD out there, was buy the book. That was the first mistake I made because I was like, I will never read this. This is way dense and I'm not that nerd. I will never read this. So I just went back to the podcast and kept listening to them and learned how to play the game.
Also, source books are basically just like encyclopedias. Like they're not. There are some that have modules in them, but like by and large, it's just like here's some stuff that's in this world. Mm-hmm. Here are some spells. Here are some creatures. Here are some races. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you would think that would make sense, but no, you would turn to something that says cleric and get 500 paragraphs of such dense information that I was like, absolutely not. I'm not reading any of this. Yeah. Somebody give me the cliff notes on the internet. And somebody did. And that's how I learned.
I have not once read the player's handbook. Not once.
I literally cracked it open exactly once and went, I am not reading this, and closed it. No. The amount of money I've spent on D&D books that I will never read. But that's okay. I have a wife to read the other books and she will correct me.
Oh man.
And that's fine. It's good.
Fine.
Who is the Chasen and who is the Pete in the Buttigieg family? do y'all know what I'm talking about? There was an amazing tweet during the 2020.
Sure. Time is a flat circle. I don't remember.
Time is a flat circle. It was like around when the world was discovering who Pete Buttigieg was. Uh-huh. And there was a tweet that was a video clip from Parks and Rec of Ben Wyatt explaining the Cones of Dunshire.
Oh, yep. I love that scene.
So someone posts a screenshot and tweets like, this is how I imagine Pete Buttigieg at the party, patiently reading the entire rule book and then explaining it and re-explaining it to the drunk people around him. Mm-hmm. And Pete Buttigieg's husband replies, "You are so correct."
listen, we all have that one friend, and truthfully, I appreciate that friend. I need that friend in my life because that friend is the reason I don't have to read the player's handbook.
Right.
You know?
Right. Like Joy, mine is my life partner.
Well, I mean, again, I did just get finished saying, so someone else built my first RPG character that I played because I was like, I don't know how to build a fire starter. And they were like, hang on, I got this. And they literally built me an awesome character. And I was like, oh, that's super cool. How do I use my spells?
Yeah.
Cool. Great. I'm into it. Like, somebody had to do it for me to enjoy the scenario. I was like, I will play this character, but you gotta give me some building blocks here. But that's, that's also just how I learned in general. Like, and then I, went online and did a bunch of tutorials and was like, how to build an encounter. And like, now I run D&D games. But I also have like a rules lawyer who is just like, look, I'm going to probably fudge a lot of stuff. Maybe just poke me and be like, so typically it's like this. But I ran a game like last week where I was like, it's a one shot, it's dumb, it has nothing to do with the rest of our story, and I was like, cool, if my monsters roll a nat 1, you get to roll an additional 2d6 and see if you get them, because for funsies, like that's not in the rule book. They're like, no, absolutely not, because then that becomes a rule for your players, and I would never subject them to that.
I joke that I'm the campaign killer because since the age of like 13, anytime someone has said, hey, you want to do a tabletop thing? Inevitably, either the campaign never comes into existence, or it's an existing campaign that I've been invited to join that dies within 3 sessions.
Why? That doesn't make any sense. You should try that online thing where you just find players.
Well, I did eventually join a D&D campaign that my friend Trevor was starting, and we did that for a while. But then COVID happened, and Trevor was sort of like, I don't have the brain juice for this anymore. Here's what I was expecting to happen to all of your characters. And now he's in Chicago in grad school. So womp womp.
That'll happen. But yeah, I feel like I didn't start playing D&D until the pandemic.
Yeah. No, I joined that campaign,
which is kind of insane. But yeah, I have also never LARPed.
Neither have I.
I've never done a LARP.
I have also never engaged in FGLARP.
Yeah, I've never LARPed, even though I have done SEA stuff, but like I haven't done LARP. It's always been like I am in this very cute outfit drinking in the woods.
That's a vibe.
I definitely have friends who SEA. I have friends on all spectrum of the SEA, and I'm just like, I know the people I would want to hang out with at the SEA, and I know the people I would not want to hang out with at the SEA, and I think that's important. And I haven't been to an event mostly because I'm just like, are the friends I want to hang out with going? No, then that's okay.
That is the absolute realest shit ever. Like, yes, that.
It's kind of like this bar has this atmosphere because of the people that are there. It's not the bar's fault if I have a bad time because the people that are there are bad.
Yeah. Yep.
Although, drinking fire water at the bar. I don't know. Maybe we'll cut that out. We don't drink. We drink spicy water. That's awesome.
Drink that spicy
water only.
Watre. We drink Watre.
I have a related, unrelated question, which is,
please.
Can I purchase a 38-sided die?
No.
That's so unfortunate.
I've seen 100-sided dies.
You would think the merch would...
But no one is selling a 38-sided die.
That's so
always
sad.
rolls a 38.
I don't know. But now I have to look up...
Can I
shiny math
buy
rocks?
A 38-sided die. Now, the infinity-sided die I have no hopes for.
No.
But would you even want it? You don't want that.
Would I even want it? No. That monkey paw of a thing.
I like that one of the top results is this a math joke? And somebody was like, it's just a weird number.
Oh, God.
It's the number of slots
Google
in
is so
American
broken.
roulette. So it could be a gambling reference. That was one of the answers. Which I'm like, oh, look at
okay.
you. I
right.
did also write down the day was saved by gambling.
I mean,
that's
wait,
true.
wait. To be clear, the day was
Gambling
saved
and
by
lying.
cheating.
By cheating at gambling.
By cheating at gambling, because it's not really gambling if you know that you're going to win, and you know that you're going to win when you are cheating.
That's true. I will say this. It is apparently a kind of screw, like a nut and screw, like a bolt that is used is a 38 die, like a 38 super. That was another thing that came up. But I don't think that's some kind of hidden meaning. I think that's just the internet misunderstanding what I'm asking for. There is something that's like 30 by 38 dice for D&D, which is also different.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm pretty sure it doesn't
looking
exist, which is really sad. It should.
It should exist. There should be 38-sided
It
die.
should
What would I use it
exist.
for? I don't know. But
I love, I mean, you know, I'm sure it was just because it was just like, it's not 20. I wonder if in the writer's room they were like, we could make it 40, and it's like, no.
no.
We're going to make
Not
it
weird
38.
enough.
Well, it's not like 20-sided die or copywritten or something, are they?
No,
they can't
but
be.
I think they wanted to just stay as far away from the...
Right, they didn't want the kids Googling 20-sided die and then getting sucked into the world of Dungeons & Dragons.
I mean, because it is Satan's game.
exactly.
Satan's game.
Satan's game. I appreciate also that Ford trusts a small child with keeping his secret.
Oh my gosh. I kind of can't with that entire situation.
Okay, I was about to say, I was like, all right, mandatory reporter Danielle, let's bring in a work Danielle into what the hell Ford is trying to sell to Dipper.
I know. I honestly think that entire situation is so inappropriate and just not smart.
Like,
You would
Why?
be correct.
Why? Like, I know he's a smart kid. I know that he looks up to you, and that feels good. But he's a child. He's not your friend in that way, and you can't entrust the fate of the universe to a 13-year-old.
I also like the, I haven't been around in a while. Is it still cool to give kids weapons?
that is so good. Everything about the last Mabelcorn is just art.
I know.
Yeah, no, I actually have to say, like, as much as I personally am into TTRPG, and we didn't even get to talk about like, the Grunkle Stan, Mabel, and Grenda quest.
I know.
So good.
Yeah, because I love their quest. Absolutely love the B-plot in that episode. But I think my favorite of these three is the unicorn episode.
I mean, it's one of the goats for sure.
I mean, I do want to talk about, so one last thing before we completely get off that first episode is,
Sure.
Danielle, this is sort of where you start to see the divide happen between Mabel and Grunkle Stan versus Ford and Dipper. You start to see this like schism start to form and understand where the twins kind of fall in relation to each other and how it could be that it's like, you know, and then you get to be that old and you're not friends anymore, you know, and you're not this, that, and the other, and there's like too much history there. And it's
Right.
really interesting to see how that just sort of is really subtle and just kind of happens.
It feels very organic.
Yeah.
No, I totally agree. Like, it's the sort of thing where I agree with you, Joy. Like, this is the moment where you can kind of put your finger on the schism and you can say, like, this is where it started to happen.
Yeah.
But truthfully, it felt organic because they've been building towards this for
sure.
a season and a half.
Exactly.
Like, nothing that happens is surprising. Nothing that happens is misaligned with what we know about Dipper and Mabel. Like, I think this show has done such a nice job of building out these characters and then,
Well,
you know,
yeah.
putting them in situations where their choices make sense.
Yeah.
One of the things that is repeated a lot in the commentary is how important it was that, like, you know how in the Seinfeld writers' room it said no hugging, no learning.
Yeah.
I
Okay.
don't.
This is new. This is new data to both of you.
Now I know that is yes.
So yeah, in the Seinfeld writing room, it was no hugging, no learning. But it feels like that banner in the Gravity Falls writing room was Dipper and Mabel love each other.
Yes. Yeah. And they do.
Like, that was like, that's the baseline of everything. That at the end of the day, no matter what they're fighting over, no matter what the conflict is, no matter how much they've irritated each other, they love each other and they care about each other, and that cannot change, and that cannot, you can start to question it in terms of like conflict, but it can't be to a degree where you're like, oh no, they really are going to end up like Ford and Ford, like Stan and Ford. Like they really are going to end up like these two.
Yeah.
Like they do a really good job at making you not believe that it could be possible until you're like, oh no, maybe it is possible.
Right. Like is this the sort of thing that can happen to anyone if you aren't careful, right? And if you don't work at your relationship or make an effort to reach out to each other,
or if
right?
you're constantly making fun of your brother, or constantly ignoring your sister when she's trying to do something with you. You know, like,
and if he hadn't said anything to her about that, because he did, right?
Yeah.
And if she hadn't in turn apologized, then yeah, maybe they could have ended up as the, Grunkle Stan and Grunkle Ford. But he did say something and she did apologize. And so we're still here and they still love each other.
Yeah.
But then we get into the next episode and Stan just feels so unappreciated.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm just
the
like,
Stanchurian
Stan.
candidate.
Stan. No, but they love you too. I would vote for Stan. I would 1,000% vote for Stan, even if he said all that nonsense.
Even if he has a criminal record an arm long.
Even if he has a criminal record.
Like he's not freaking Bud Gleeful.
No.
Literally,
No, he's
literally
not.
anyone but Bud.
And it's so great. Well, see, that's the thing. It's like anyone but, right? However, and Bud Gleeful wasn't even the worst of it. Like, you thought Bud Gleeful was bad, and then he was possessed by Gideon, and here we are, right?
I know. It was just it was so funny because I started that episode and I was like, wait, why? Why is that? What is oh, right. And it took me a second to remember that, like, oh, wait, if Bud is mayor, then he can probably pardon his son. Right.
Yep.
Like
and there it is.
Yeah. It took a whole second for me to remember what was happening. I do love the town charter nonsense.
I love their election protocol. I deeply love their election protocol. I love the piles of birdseed. I love the birdly kiss. I love that there's a freedom eagle. Like, everything about it is amazing.
What was the name on the cage of, like, this is the voting, the election, the election voting eagle? What?
I think that's what it was. I think it was like the election eagle or something like that.
The freedom eagle? Was it a freedom eagle?
Something,
Maybe.
but it also said something about, like, election, like, on the cage. Like, election bird do not touch. Like, it was so weird. It was like it was a very strange, like, warning on his cage. But yeah, I also love Tad Strange being real milquetoast.
Okay,
Did you recognize that voice?
No.
Who is it?
One Cecil Baldwin.
Do I know who that is?
Welcome to Night Vale.
Oh, I'm not up in that.
I have listened to some Welcome to Night Vale. Not
Welcome to
it.
Night Vale and Gravity Falls premiered on the same day. Their first episodes were the same day. June 15th, 2012. You probably have never seen it. I mean, other than like photos of him from like live shows and whatnot, but he hasn't really done much stuff where hit it with his face. But like, there was one point where it got like someone had found a cast list and saw that Cecil Baldwin was on the cast list for something in season 2 or this episode specifically, I forget which, and the audience went wild. Like there were theories and like tin hatting, all just people were trying to figure out who is he playing? Is he going to be an important character? What's he going to do? And his entire character was, "Hi, I'm Tad Strange. I like Ghost."
I mean, I love that.
It's just so good. I mean, were people disappointed? Because that fandom kind of goes hard.
That fandom went very hard, and we're kind of disappointed. But again, all of this happened long before I was watching the show.
Oh, fair.
So I was getting all of this fandom history like at least 6 months too late.
Yeah, like not in real time.
Yeah, and in many cases, like years later, because the show started in 2012 and didn't end until 2016, and still only had 2 seasons.
Oh, I feel bad that people were disappointed. At the same time, though, I love Tad Strange. Like, the minute he showed up, I was like, well, that's my favorite one-off character.
I think they were expecting him to be sort of like the anti-Bill. They were expecting him to have a more prominent character and to be sort of like the anti-Bill, basically. Mm-hmm. So
I think the show would have had to do so much more.
Pardon?
The show would have had to have done so much more to make him the anti-Bill. You can't introduce him in episode like 14 of season 2 if you're going to make him anti-Bill.
What? You mean like Ford?
Yeah, but Ford has ties to the family. It would be like if Ford was like, "Oh, by the way, and then I created Tad Strange to be the anti-Bill," and like then I'd be like, "Okay, cool." Well, like.
Okay, but now I want to read that fanfic.
I mean, I'm sure it exists. Well, I don't know. I don't know what the fanfic crossover for Gravity Falls is. Mm-hmm. I know there's a lot of fan art, and I know there's like stuffies, which I love.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot.
You know, Ford was technically introduced late in the show, but he's the author of the journals. So in a way, he's been there all along.
Yeah, we've been talking about him since the first episode.
Exactly. He's been there.
He is the banjo polish. Like he
invented banjo polish.
He did. In that very basement, thank you very much.
What's your favorite like thing that was very pro Stan for Mayor from the episode? Mine is Swines for Pines.
Swines for Pines.
Yes, we stand. Like that.
Yeah.
That one will just, takes me out all the time.
Oh, that was very good. I loved Yes, We Stand.
I also like the tag on that one because Gideon has to make his promises.
Okay, episode promotional material. In anticipation for the episode, a Twitter account, Stan Pines, the number 4 Mayor, was created by Alex Hirsch for Stan's platform. In addition, a website was created called Mabel Said She'd Make Me a Website.com, and Neil Cicierega created a campaign song for Stan called Pines 2016, which he uploaded as an unlisted video on his channel.
Oh my gosh!
Wow.
Adorable.
That's amazing.
Oh my goodness, the Twitter account is still live. I'm going to send you guys the link. Because this is hysterical.
I would expect no less.
Honestly.
They should keep that up for people who are just like, gee, I wonder if, and then they start searching, doing this very thing.
For posterity.
I can't believe I lost. Who knew what a criminal record barred you from office? I thought it was a prerequisite. # national tragedy. Incredible.
That's amazing. I love that.
I also love that the reaction is, what have you done? What haven't I done?
Oh my God.
When he turns off the TV and he's like, good thing they didn't describe any of the really terrible things I did.
The stack was so
This
long.
website is the funniest thing I think I've ever seen. Holy crap.
You'll have to email that to us so we can include it in the...
no, I'm pasting it in the Facebook.
Go ahead and email it so we can put it in the comment, in the information for this episode when this episode drops. So people can just go and check it out because...
This is like... Because there's a graphic of Pines 2016 where it's clearly like the Bernie, but in the hole in the P stands like goldfish symbol.
Oh, that's awesome.
This is art.
Yeah.
I want to shake the hand of the person who made this, because this is incredible. Like this is the Space Jam website for me. This is my Space Jam website.
Space Jam website.
Still active.
I mean, it better be. But yes, the last episode probably has the most of all three of these.
Right. Also, you're memeing fast and none of them are good. And it's like the walking into Mordor. Like, that was so good.
Yeah, that was very good. That was very good.
Like, that could have been the most hello, fellow kids stuff ever. And instead, it was incredible.
But I just also love that it's like the second Lord of the Rings thing we've had.
Wait, what was the first?
The Eye of Saruman that he has in his
That's
thing.
right.
Because again, this came out in 2012, so they were like, "Hey, we got to hop on that LOTR."
The kids like them hobbits,
Gotta get it while the getting's good.
What's really funny to me is that this is all Stan Pine's 2016, but in the universe of the show, it's still 2012.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Well, he lost the 2012 election. He's rerunning in 2016.
Excuse me. You're
Obviously.
Right. That's exactly what happened.
It's literally like the nonsense that happened during the 2016 actual election. They were just like, we can't even joke about 2020. We're just going to pack up and stop.
I don't know if you remember, there was some primary stumping thing that Bernie did, and a bird like landed on his podium, and I was just like, oh boy, Gravity Falls fans are gonna have fun with this one.
He got the most bird.
And when I say Gravity Falls fans, I mean me. Like I was,
you personally.
I personally laughed really hard about it.
Gravity Falls fans of one.
You know, me.
No, there is that meme that circulates every once in a while, which isn't Gravity Falls related, but it's like a flock of birds is in the shape of a hedgehog with the sun as the eye or something. And somebody shared that with I feel like Terry Pratchett, like Neil Gaiman owes Terry Pratchett $20 or whatever.
Yeah.
Because Terry Pratchett was like, when I die, I'm going to send you a sign. Oh, is it going to be like a person or something? No, it's going to be something completely weird and off the wall and spectacular.
That was so good.
Oh.
I saw that picture the other day and I was just like,
yeah. And it's like, I think Neil Gaiman owes Terry Pratchett 20 quid.
20.
Sounds about right.
I have a feeling. But yeah, I love everything about this episode. I love Mabel. I love the unicorn. I love Ford. I love Dipper.
Stan.
I love Stan.
Money! I realize that's the last line of the episode, and we just started talking about that, but like, it's so funny.
I mean, like,
It's
speaking of games, all the board
cracks me
games,
up every
like
time.
the stack of board
All
games
the
that they
board
look at,
games. If I had had
God.
more time, I would have written down the name of every board game. I did not.
if you give me a
have time.
second, I've got the. I've got the.
I love that they were about to play the Jumanji game.
I know. Two kids
I
played
was
this
like-
game.
funny.
I would love the
Two
AU
kids
where
played
they
this game
actually
and are
play
still
that game.
stuck in it. The Don't Wake Stalin.
Don't Wake Stalin.
Don't wake Stalin.
Don't Wake Stalin, I think, was probably my favorite, if only because I was talking about Don't Wake Daddy like 2 weeks ago for some odd reason. And I was trying to explain to people how, like, just like the Crossfire theme, Don't Wake Daddy theme song is just in my head forever. Don't know why. Just exists.
Don't know why, it's just there.
It's just there. It's like double mint gum. It's a real double mint gum moment. The Inside Out for those fans of you who are really excited for the sequel that's probably coming out soon.
and is probably gonna just like
destroy
hit
me.
me right in the feels.
Destroy me.
Absolutely.
She gets anxiety.
Absolutely.
She gets anxiety, Danielle. I can't.
Oh,
The new feeling
I haven't
is anxiety.
seen the trailer. Oh no.
I've seen a still, and that's all I need. My brain is like, oh God, you're gonna destroy me. You're gonna destroy me.
Oh no. Okay. Well,
It's like, Riley.
anyway,
No.
instead of thinking about that, I'm going to think about Celeste Bell Abethabel because Celeste Bell Abethabel was amazing.
Pure of heart.
I have a 3 o'clock to stand in front of this rainbow. Stand majestically in front of this rainbow.
And I know this is like the
Paintings
smallest
on
detail.
sides of vans were true.
True. I love that they just speak like psychically through their horns. Like for some reason, like speaking of like, what is that versus can we keep it versus kill it, kill it. See, can we keep it or what is that would have been my reaction to the tentacled creature. Kill it was my reaction to Celeste Bella Bethabel. Like,
Oh no, she sucks.
she
sucks a lot.
Like,
She
the
sucks
minute
so
she showed up on
hard.
screen.
Her own community doesn't want her. Like, we see that. That happens.
I just also like that their horns can also play rave music.
Yes.
What were some of the mysterious scrolls and potions? Are you going to tell us that we're going to magic school? Is there an owl in there? If there is, he's dead.
If there is, it's quite dead.
It's quite sad.
We get to learn the Bill Cipher history with Ford,
Yes.
which, oh boy.
Oh boy. So the list of things that were in Dipper's head. Oh man, I can't believe I'm with the author. Gosh, I hope no one was looking. Oh no. I'm not even reading that one. That's too embarrassing. Sorry, Dipper. I should really try out the president's key sometime. I could probably rob a bank. I miss Tyrone. That red bathing suit, man. Is my fly down? Disco girl coming through. Wendy. And it was just, oh God, they're all so good.
They're also good.
You can also tell that this episode was really inspired by Charlie and Candy Mountain.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. No, this is like, we gave a bunch of millennials a few $1 million to make an animated series. Here's what happened.
Yeah.
They wrote a unicorn episode. You're welcome.
Yup.
I like the trust no one. Trust no one.
Oh man. Just
We got some unicorn hair and unicorn teeth.
Ford's thoughts are, I can't tell him he's not ready. I'm so close to the unified theory of weirdness. I missed to mention 52. I'm sorry, Fiddleford and Crampelter.
Interesting. Oh, I'm sorry, Fiddleford. That one is so sad.
Yeah.
Aw.
I know.
I mean, yeah, he was really dealt the short end of the stick there.
That man will never be the same. Talk about never being the same.
No. Yes. And he's the only reason this entire world or universe hasn't already collapsed.
I know.
You know, if he hadn't glimpsed Bill's true plans, it would absolutely be over.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Mabel wouldn't get to punch a unicorn.
And Mabel wouldn't get to punch a unicorn. Or have unicorn tears. Or unicorn teeth.
Unicorn tears. Now,
Unicorn blood, hair.
my question is, did Candy ever get to lick the unicorn's neck?
Probably.
I mean,
Because they didn't tell me whether she licked the unicorn's neck.
I mean, I would be stunned if Grenda didn't hold down a unicorn specifically.
that's what I was going to
So that
say.
Candy could do
I was
that.
like, they probably held it down so she could.
Like that's looking out for your friend, number one. Hold down the unicorn so that your friend, who explicitly stated she wanted to lick a unicorn's neck, can lick a unicorn's neck.
And see what it tastes like.
Exactly.
I just love how Ren and Stimpy it was that she was so close and she almost did it just all by herself. Just before one more things, I did kind of want to talk about how bad it was that they were controlling Stan's mind.
So the scene with Suze, I always forget how like genuinely chilling.
I was gonna say, I think the fact that Seuss was in so much distress after he went through all of that was sort of alarming.
Yeah.
And then they did it to him again.
Again.
And again.
To remind you that they're children. Given
they are not pure of heart.
No, are not pure of heart. Given what is essentially amounts to a weapon that was originally meant to control a president. And I just, I remember I was watching it again and I was like, oh, right, I forgot. And I I
forgot about the Reagan thing.
It taps into like my least favorite mind control nonsense.
Yeah.
Like, it's not even dubious consent. Like, it's zero consent. And it's like, ooh.
Zero.
And I'm also sitting here as just like, I feel like Grunkle Stan would have been into it if you had explained to him what the tie did and just been like, hey, think of it like the ultimate con.
Right.
You know, instead of just being like, we're just going to take away your personhood for like a montage. Like a whole montage. Like, we are you many, many times over.
Yes. And allow you to believe that you are successfully winning everyone's approval. Not us.
So what this reminds me of, there was a Tumblr post I saw recently talking about a group of fifth graders who had an active market in live bees. Some kids figured out that the weight of an average fifth grader briefly stepping on a bee in the grass would stun it for about a minute without actually killing it. They started going out in teams to scout bees on the field, stun them, and carefully scoop them into plastic sandwich bags. They'd then sell them to other students who'd release them in classrooms to waste class times and scare people. You could get honeybees for 25 cents a piece. Bumblebees and yellow jackets cost more. Teachers and school admins started cracking down on this. Teachers literally confiscated live bees in plastic bags from students when found, and they eventually had to start having someone watch the field to catch the students in the act.
Wow.
And there's a follow-up comment that is, people think of children as either sweet and innocent or too stupid to cause much trouble, and both views are wrong. Yep. A child of elementary school age has the moral reasoning and impulse control of a raccoon paired with a problem solving equal to or superior to an adult's, yet unbound by the shackles of cautionary experience or awareness of long-term consequences. Mm-hmm. This is what allows the children to both create a black market in live bioweapons while still only valuing said weapons at 25 cents.
Listen,
and rewatching.
As someone who works professionally with children, I agree with every single word in that statement.
Yeah, zero lies told.
Absolutely none. I love them to bits, and all that's true.
Rewatching this and the whole thing and what you just said, I was just like, oh, it's the fifth graders with the bees.
Yes, yeah.
Joy, you have such a look on your face.
I'm so glad I was not in any of the classes that this was going on.
I know, I was like, I'm pretty sure Joy is like deathly afraid of bees.
I was like, it like to the point where my brain went, is that my root? Did I block it out? Were they like weaponizing bees and I just didn't remember it? Like, was that
is this
my
a core memory? I just forgot.
Is this a core memory? I just forgot. Yeah, no, I would
kicked off the edge of the cliff.
I would have like moved schools. I would have been like, is there another school that can take me? Because I literally physically cannot be in this school with these children at all. No, thank you. Kids are scary. And that's it.
Yeah.
Take that all the way to the bank. But yeah,
Take it to the bank,
I
boys.
had forgotten how instantly horrifying that was and how it just went on for the entire episode. And they didn't even learn the lesson I wanted them to learn at the end of that, which was you're essentially stooping to Gideon's level.
Yes, because he took over his dad's mind. Like, how did they not point to the fact that during the debate, everyone on stage was mind controlled except for the guy who actually won?
Yeah. I mean, all I could do is sit, like, I also kept remembering this one episode of Bob's Burgers that's literally like, sometimes all you have to do is make both options the worst option so that somebody will pick the mundane option, and they picked the mundane option. Like, that's literally what it was.
I mean, honestly, though, like, if you give me a list of Gravity Falls citizens I would want to be my mayor, Tyler Cutepicker is, like, really high up there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Facts.
He's pretty great.
Facts.
And he actually completed the paperwork.
And he
so,
completed the
you know.
paperwork. And I guess he
That's
doesn't
half
have a
the
criminal
job.
past, which I'm a little bit sad about because I kind of want him to be some kind of weird master criminal.
Well, he could have a past that, you know, you only have a past if you're caught.
That's true.
And so
He
the
could
best
still be a
criminals
master
really
criminal.
don't have one. Exactly. He's an actual master criminal because he was never actually caught.
He was never actually caught. I think we're at one more things. I have mine, unless y'all have
Okay.
mine is, speaking of the last episode, it was finally Grenda's time to shine with that deepest chant.
Yes.
Oh wait, mine is Grenda related too. So my one more thing was Grenda's armchair. Like the fact
Yes.
that Grunkle Stan said, everyone pick a weapon, and Grenda picks up a freaking armchair. And she's like, this! And then they let her take out a troll with said armchair. Absolutely.
Also,
my
where
favorite.
did her
No
mandolin
notes.
come from? I was like,
Better
is
we
she
don't
a
ask.
bard? Maybe she's a bard. I don't know.
Yeah, if there's anyone in Gravity Falls who I would already assume to be a player of DD and more D, Grenda would be pretty at the top of that list.
Oh yeah.
But maybe
Although I
she's more of
could
an
also-
F-Corp gal.
I was gonna say I could also see her being really into F-Lorp. Clorp.
She would be really into F-Corp, but everyone except Suze would be terrified of her.
Yes, that's true. Because she would bring an armchair to a knife fight. You know? Like,
Well, it's like we've already seen her go up against Blubs and Durland and like beat them both into the ground.
True.
yeah.
True. But yeah, so that's our one. Do you have one more thing, Jill?
I do. I have some of the list of Stan's crimes.
Ooh, yes. Excellent.
Snacks evasion, pickpocketing, woodpecker baiting, impersonating a dentist, general indecency, golf cart theft, bingo fraud, telling overly long jokes, and pug trafficking.
How do we not
Also,
talk about the
burgle
pug trafficking?
bezelment. Burgle bezelment. Can we just have a moment for burgle bezelment?
I don't know how we didn't talk about the pug trafficking because the pugs actually
pugs are
made
so
an
cute.
appearance in the next episode.
There were so many of them. They were
So
all
many
stuffed in the barrel.
barrels of pugs.
Gotta get them up to Vancouver real fast.
Barrels of Pugs by Mattel. That's your new
Man.
that's your new Barbie accessory, a barrel of pugs.
Barrel of pugs.
Barrel of pugs. And I think that's everything.
I think so.
Jill, where can the people find you?
They can find me on Blue Sky and YouTube. On YouTube, do look for Jill Friedman or Mighty Labradorite. And then on Blue Sky, I'm Mix Labradorite, MX, LABRADORITE.
Very cool.
I was reading it off the thing this time, though.
Oh, there you go.
Oh, please.
Sold.
I mean, I say the exact same thing at the end of every episode, and I
And
always
spoilers,
have
she
the words
reads
in
it.
front of me. I always have the words in front of me. You know, like, listen, if you really, really wanted me to test my memory, I could probably rattle it off, but why would I do that? It's here.
You don't have to.
I don't have to. Okay, so if you would like to, wow, what is the thing that I usually say? If you would like more Bach Pod, we would love to hear from you. Please check us out at Binge O'Clock Pod on Twitter and Facebook, where you can answer the question, would you rather play D&D and more D or F-Lorp? You can also email us at bingeoclockpod@gmail.com, and don't forget, we have a Patreon. Find us at patreon.com/BachPod.
That's right. And tell your friends, tell your family, tell your loved ones, tell the live lobsters in your life about Binge O'Clock, and we will see you next time.
The fact that Valve never released the Cave Johnson cut. So,
The what cut?
all right. Okay. Michelle, Joy is cracking up. Michelle is confused. All right, Danielle is confused. Wow. Hi, brains. I don't. What? Your name isn't Michelle. Who are you? Where am I? What is this?
There's your buzzer for the end of the episode.
I like that I was pausing because I truly thought that was maybe somehow part of the explanation for the thing that you were about to do. So I'm just like waiting.